Morning YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I've got something very exciting for you, I think anyway, and that is to do a colour along with me in this fantastic book, The Fairyland Circus from the Imaginary World of Jane F. Hankins. I've adored her work from afar for a while and I've not been able to afford the shipping, and now in these times where post and things have stopped, I'm unable to get it. It's my birthday next week and I thought, oh, I'll go on and see if I can get it, but unfortunately, because I'm in the UK, when they're not able to ship to me at the moment. So what Jane has done is put some of her works as PDFs on her website. So I got in touch with Jane and her publishers and sought permission to be able to use the images on YouTube to do a colour along with me, and they've very kindly agreed to let me do that. So the other person that I need to do a big thank you to is BROX'S. She's a fantastic colourist and artist, and she introduced me to this fantastic imaginary world. So thank you, May. And yeah, so we're going to do an image in this together. Got my cup of tea, I'll put it down. And I'd chosen to do this one. I will link Jane F. Hankins' YouTube, website, Instagram, all down below in the description box if you want to just have a direct link. There's no affiliate or anything like that. It's just to make it easy for you if you want to be able to get her artwork. And this was, like I said, was PDF, and she's got a couple of other books on there that are PDF. So if you're like me and are unable to get the shipping at the moment, you'll be able to access her images through her website. So this image I just thought was magical, and it's also obviously on her front cover, and any little girl, the look on her face, any little girl discovering this would have that look on their face. And I can imagine as a little girl all these things that you imagine in that fairy world. So yeah, it's just a magical image, that childhood innocence and imagination. So let's get started. I'm going to start with her skin, simply because I don't want it to get smudged when we do the dark parts of the trees. So I'm going to go in with light peach 927. Let me bring the camera in to focus on her, and then there we are. We just move her over, there we go. And I'm going to cover all her skin in a very light coat of light peach, and that will just give us that wax base that we need, a very light base that we need to get the rest of the shades in. Jane has done a very, very good job of giving a shadow on this image. As you can see with these lines here, I know where the darks and the lights need to be, so it just makes life much easier. So I'm just doing a light coat of peach. The paper I'm using is the same as I always use when I print something out, and I will link that in the description box below as well. It's just 160 cardstock, and I just have a HP inkjet printer, and it goes straight through that with no problems at all. And Prismacolors, and well, all of the pencils that I've tried on it work a dream on it. So just a light coat of peach, and I think there's a sneaky little bit of knee just peeking out there. We'll just put a little bit of light peach on there. Okay, so she's got a really light covering of peach. So then I'm going to go in with selecting my pencils, Chestnut, which is 1081. I'm just going to give it a bit of a sharpen because the image is quite tiny. And where Jane's given us the shading, I'm going to do a very light coat of chestnut around there, just very, very lightly. Now, a lovely subscriber left me a wonderful message, and it was really very lovely, and her name is, I hope she doesn't mind me giving a shout out to her, Jackson Sanders. I hope I'm saying your name right, Jackson. She actually requested this colour along in Jane's work, so I went ahead and, like I say, contacted Jane, contacted her publishers, and here I am with that tutorial for you, Jackson. So thank you for subscribing and leaving me such a beautiful message. It meant the world to me. So just filling in there, and then there's just a tiny bit of shadow this side and a tiny bit of shadow this side. And then, of course, her shoulder, all around here. And bring that down. A little bit in her elbow, where her elbow crease is, and then I'm going to follow it round just a tiny bit, just to round up the shape of her arm. A few in between her fingers. Bring that down a little bit, like the guides that you have on the back of your hand. Where am I, like that? Just keep going. Okay. We can always add some more later if we feel we need to. So then I'm going to take Nectar, which is 1092, and then I'm going to just go over the places I've put the chestnut in, and bring that out just a tiny bit further, not too much. Down around her hair. Can you see what I'm doing? Shall I move you down? Yeah, that's better. Just going over the chestnut, round her hair shadow, bringing it out a little bit further onto her face. Again over the shadows on her neck and bringing that out a little bit further. And around her arm. Again, just very lightly. We can always go back in later and add more depth to it if needs be. But just following that chestnut and then bringing it out slightly. Up onto her fingers. And we'll do a little tiny bit where her knee is. Just a tiny bit there. Or thigh, whatever that. Yeah, thigh. Right, now a little bit on her ear, although we can't see much of it because it's very dark. But it still needs that little bit of colour. Okay. So we've done light peach, nectar, chestnut, Now I'm going to go in with Deco Peach, which is 1013, and I'm going to go over all of that and bring it out a little bit further. I'm going back to my chestnut look because I've forgotten back to chestnut, and I'm just going to do a little bit of colour, a little bit of shadow under her little nose, and a little bit of nectar. And then we'll carry on with the Deco Peach, the 1013. Make sure you can see everything. And we're just blending that out and bringing that out slightly further. And onto our arm, same again, over everything we've done. Bringing that out. Oh yes, I finally worked out Instagram, so now I'm on Instagram, which I will link down below. I've put all last month's, most of last month's images up. I will put some more up, but yeah, I'm on Instagram now, and I'm trying to follow as many of you as I can. And if you want to come across and follow me, that would be lovely. And because I don't have enough subscribers yet, I can't post on the what is it, on the wall thing, you know, the news thing that you get. So I'll be able to keep you up to date on Instagram. Okay, so I'm going to go in now with Deco Pink, which is 1014, and I'm going to give her some blush before we do any more blending on her little cheeks, because she's very excited and it's giving her a bit of a flush look. There we are, can you see that? Just move the image a little bit. Around here. Okay. Cheeks. Now I'm going to go in with Peach, which is 939, and I'm going to go over all of that again lightly, bring it out a little bit further, but leaving the highlights on her eyelids and her nose. So I don't want to fill all this in, so I'm going over the dark areas with the peach. And we're not blocking your view. And a little bit of peach on her neck, around her dress line. And again on her arm. Now I've taken to using polychromos for doing skin, but I wanted to do all this image in Prisma because I think they're popular. A lot of people seem to have the Prismas, but I do like using the polys for skin now. Okay, now if you look, I think to me she looks really orange. So here's a little tip that I picked up. And if you use, I'm just trying to, it's Sap Green Light, I'm just trying to see the number, it's 289. Sap Green Light, now you might think, oh my god, what are you doing? But this will tone down that horrible orange red colour and give it a much more natural look. So if I do this side of her face, and you're just lightly going over it. It doesn't show up green at all, but all it does, if we just do half her face, look, all it does, if you can see, is just take away, where are you, there, that orange glow, and gives a more natural look. So I'm just going to continue to do it in my darkest spaces. And then we can always go back in. And with that sap green light on it, it just takes that red out and gives it a more of a natural tone, natural look. So just where there's any dark parts, or that you think are maybe too pink or orange, and this green will take out that that look. I know it sounds weird. When I heard it, I thought, oh God, put green over the top of peach, but it really works. Okay, so I'm going back in now with light peach, which is 927, and I'm just going to really lightly fill in the highlighted areas that I'd left, just lightly, so she's got some colour, it's not just white. It just helps to blend all that out. And with that sap green light underneath, it just again stops that orangey look to her skin. Do a little bit on a little thigh down here. It's peeping out. There. I'm going to put a tiny bit more pink on her cheeks. Just deco peach, pink again. And give her that a little bit more of a excited glow about her. There. Okay, there's my brush. Let's just brush her off. Right, we'll stay on her. Right, lips. Deco Pink 1014. Nectar 1092. And Pomegranate 1095. So I'm going to go in with the Deco Pink, and I'm going to give her lips a coat of Deco Pink first. This just stops it becoming too red. She is a little girl, so I wouldn't be expecting her to wear makeup unless she's been playing. And then I'm going to go in with the the Pomegranate 195, and I'm going to do where it would be darkest, so the corner of her mouth, around the bottom. And it will turn down because we're going to put the nectar over the top, so it will turn down. I don't want her to look like the irony of a clown. Right, nectar over the top, there we are, and then we're going to go back over with Deco Pink. Just tone it down and give it a more natural look. There she is, look, she's coming to life. There. I'm quite happy with that. She looks quite sweet. I want her to look natural. I don't want her to be... Right, eyes. Now, blue eyes. I'm giving her blue eyes. And I've chosen Ultramarine 902, Mediterranean Blue 1022, and Powder Blue 1087. And I'm just going to give them a quick sharpen because it's such a tiny space. So I'm going in with my Ultramarine and I'm going to give her right down at the bottom, a little bit darker at the bottom. There, just these tiny spaces here. There we are. Then I'm going to go in with the Mediterranean blue, and I'm going to go over that. There we are. And then the same with that one. Okay. Now they might be looking a little intense. They don't look too bad actually, but I'm just going to run a tiny line of powder blue over the top, and if it lightens it too much we can always go back in. So just over that Mediterranean blue. Okay, and I'm going to go back in over that. And then back to the ultramarine and just deepen up around the bottom. There we are. I think she looks cute. Okay, let's do our hair. Now, I've chosen chestnut, which we've already used. 943. Bear with me, I'm trying to find my what did we choose? I think I've written it down wrong. Right, chestnut 1081, burnt ochre 941, and then beige. So I can't lift them up because, well, I could, but they're so stubby. They're so stubby that it makes it difficult. There you go. Alright, so I'm going to go in with chestnut, and where Jane has given us all the darkest parts, I'm going to fill those in. Let me just centralise you a little bit. There you go. So all the dark parts, and these images, they look horrendously terrifying to colouring. To me they did, really sort of intimidating, and I think that goes as part of the course for me if I really love an image and I don't want to spoil it. But in actual fact, once you start, the way Jane has sketched it makes it really easy to follow. So if you use the 3 colour blend method, it becomes not intimidating at all. You just follow what Jane's given us. A little bit there. Okay, let's do her fringe around here. So here, look, there's dark here. So I'm going to go in with the chestnut here. And then round her fringe. So any spaces that Jane has given us that are very dark, there where we're going to put our chestnut. So a parting. A few flicks in here. A few up flicks. There. And the same this side. And she's leaning up against the tree here, so that's giving it a bit of darkness, a bit of shade. Okay, I'm going to just spin you for a minute, and I'm going to do a few flicks of the chestnut down there. Okay, right, that's chestnut. Now we're going in with burnt umber, which is 941. And I'm going to go over the chestnut, and I'm going to leave a tiny little gap if I can, and that'll be to go over with the beige, just for a few highlights. Bring down. Right here, the light is going to come off here, because I'm going to make that, well, he's got a little light there, and then this is going to glow. So I'm not going to go in too dark there. Just going to fill a little fringe in. And then I'm going to add a bit of cream here. And again, this will just stop that hair becoming too dark when I go over it with our lightest colour. There. Okay, a little bit of cream. And then I'm going to use beige, which is 997. Let's move you back up again, make sure you're in shot. And I'm going to use that to blend those colours together. And then we can go back over. There we go. A little tiny bit at the end of her pigtail. And then over where we put the cream, we'll go over with some beige. And then I'm going to take the middle colour, which was burnt umber 941, and I'm going to spin you around because I can't reach. Just going to very lightly give that a hint of brown. See? There she is. So I'm just going to fill in any gaps that I feel need filling in. Go back over that. I'm sorry, look, if I tip it that way, then you'll be able to see my hand won't be in your way. Just deepening that up. Okay. I'm going to take, where's the chestnut? There it is. I'm surrounded by all my pencils, ready to just pick them up and go. A bit more chestnut. And now I think I'm happy with that. I'm going to a bit more burnt ochre in there. Some flicks down here. Oh. Well, one thing I have learned is to stop fiddling, because you can faff about with it too much and spoil it. Right. Oh, eyebrows. She might need some eyebrows. So let's go in with our mid-tone first, which is the burnt umber, and we'll give her some eyebrows. Remembering that she is a little girl, so she's going to have natural brows. They're not going to be plucked or waxed. And then over that with, just sharpen that again, with a tiny bit of the chestnut. Okay, a bit of beige, lighten them up, blend it in. There she is. Okay, so that's the first part done. We've done our lovely little lady. Let me zoom you back out so you can see the whole thing. Okay. I'm just going to cut the image here and go and get a drink. I'm very thirsty. Wait, make sure you can see it all. and then I will come back and we're going to start on the trees. We'll make a start on that. Okay, I'll see you in a second. Okay, so I've gone off and I have finished my cup of tea, and I've just gone back over slightly just to deepen up her skin a little bit, but only with the colours we've used. And I have to apologise, I said I was using burnt ochre, which should have been in her hair, a 943, and I was actually using light umber, so it should have been where am I, burnt ochre 943. So I do apologise for that. I've put a little bit in her hair just to gives it a little bit more of a red hint, so I am sorry, I do apologise. Okay, now before we start on the dark of the trees, I want to do the background of this beautiful little lady. So I've chosen, and they are right, the colours this time. We're going to start with Lake Blue 1102. My pencils are getting so stubby, this is the trouble, so I'm having to write down from my swatches what the pencils are. So actually this is Blue Lake, but obviously in the French it's the other way around, but it is 1102 Blue Lake, and I'm going to go in where the deep colours are going to be, and then we're going to get lighter as we come in towards her. So just very lightly I'm going to put some colour in down here. I'm going to come up towards. I'm just giving myself a line so I know where I want the dark to be before we put the next colours in. Oh, you couldn't see any of that, I'm so sorry. So I've just given myself a line where I want the colours to be. So I'm going to have to tilt the page. Okay, so I'm coming round here. Filling that little gap there by Bunny's ear. And I'm going to keep going. So obviously it's going to go round the tree, and then I'm going to come in lighter as we go along. There's a bit of a tree. I'm paranoid now that you can't see. So I've moved my camera up slightly so that I don't keep knocking you, and the shot keeps wobbling, so makes it more difficult to check the shot, but better for you to be able to see, I think. So this is just laying out where we want it to go, and then we'll go back in and fill it in properly. Tipping you again, sorry. Around the trees. Okay. There's my start, which was Blue Lake 1102. Now I'm going in with Blue Slate. I'll just check that is right before I give it to you. Yeah, Blue Slate 1024. And I'm going to come in with this. Again, going over where we last went, minding her hair, I don't want to muddy that sky up. We will be going back over all of this, so this is just so that we know where our colours are going to go. Okay, there's that. And then we're going to go in with Sky Blue Light 1086. And I'm going to fill the rest of the sky in behind her, going over everything we've already done. Tip you a bit. Should be a bit careful around her hair. Now if you're following along with this and you are doing it, I think you'd probably be better off doing the sky first. Then you don't have to worry about any colours transferring from the dark colours from her hair onto your blue sky. Okay, let's go back over it and make sure that we get definite colours in there now. Right, so this is Blue Lake 1102. So I'm going in here and then I'm going to fade it out so that our slate blue will blend into it. So very lightly to give it that blend line. Down to the bottom here, deepen that up. And then get lighter as you go towards where we want the slate blue. Okay, around his little bunny ears. I'm thinking about whether I should do this video in 2 parts because it's just going to be so long. So I might do this in 2 parts. So we've got her skin and her, then the sky. We'll see how long the video is then. But all my sort of colour alongs have been really long, sort of an hour and a half, and nobody's mentioned whether they like them like that or whether they would prefer them in parts. I'm not really sure. So if I do, it'll be a bit of an experiment to see what happens. Right, fade that out. Okay, I'm going to take the blue slate and we're going, oh excuse me, we're going back over that. We're going to get rid of that, go over that blend line. Go back over the first colour. Same here. A bit round here, a bit more around there. Okay, then we're going to get our sky blue light 1086 and go over the whole thing. Oh, you're nice in frame there, if I leave you there. Go over all of that and blend that well in. Being careful if you've done her hair first. You see? Okay, keep going. A little bit more pressure when you blend those all in. gap here. Let's fill that in. Behind her there. That would probably be Blue Lake. I'm going to make that dark in there. There. A little bit of that. And a bit of the blue slate. Just so it doesn't look like a slab of colour just chucked in there. There we are. Right, now one final colour. I mean, this is magic we're talking about, that I just want to give a hint of is Parma Violet, and it's 1008. And I just want to give, around the darkest parts of the blue, a hint of this violet. And it just sort of deepens it up and gives a bit of a depth to the image. Because obviously that should be right off in the distance, so, and it just kind of makes it a little bit more magical, mysterious. You don't want much, just a light hand of it, just to give a hint of that colour. Well, obviously you can do it any way you choose to, but that's how I've done it. Okay, can you even see that purple? I have to remember that I'm looking on a small LCD screen video display on my little camera, and that's not what you're going to see when it's on your computer screen. So, put my purple in. And I'm going to go back with our darkest blue colour, which was Blue Lake 1102, and then just go over that. We're just going to go over that, 1102. And then back to the blue slate. Over that. We're just smoothing out and filling in. Blending those colours together. There we are. Okay, sky blue light. Oh. Go over the whole thing. Then, so it kind of looks like it's going off into the distance. Then I'm going to take a tiny little bit of cream and I'm going to go into that sky blue light really lightly. And almost give it a sort of magical glow behind her. That's my imagination playing now. I'm not sure that that works or if that comes off, but that's what I'm thinking. That the whole thing is magical. She's found this little part in between the trees, and the whole thing is just magic. There. You lift her up a little bit. Yeah. I hope you can see that. It looks, on my screen at the moment it's looking really bright, but I don't think it will. This is quite good camera for true to colours, but I'll see when I edit it. So that's the sky done. And her skin. Let's do her dress quickly and then I'll see how long the video is and decide whether we're going to do it in parts or whether we carry on. Okay, so her dress. I have chosen Pink Rose 1018 and Deco Pink, which is 1014, and White 938. And I just want this to be very subtle and girly. I don't want her dress to be the forefront. I want to keep her eyes and the surprise on her face, or the joy on her face, and the circus being predominant. So I'm going in with Pink Rose, and again I'm going to use Jane's beautiful lines to help me with where the darks are going to be for our shadows. I'm going to go around her arm slightly. Excuse me. And then down here, look, let me just tilt her. Down here, all this is shaded. Under her little arm. Well, let me just get a sip of drink, I do apologise. And her little trousers, look, down here. I think it's like she's in her night clothes and she's snuck out. Or dreaming, possibly. Okay, now we're going in with the Deco Pink, which is 1014, and we're going to blend that out. We will go back in and deepen up the put some around her collar here. We will go back in and deepen up the rose pink in a minute, but we're just going to get that colour down, and then we can see how much more we need to add. And also it just doesn't, if you want some shadows where the creases in her dresses, it's just not going to smudge them all out and just make the whole thing dark. If you do it afterwards, it stops that happening. So back to our rose pink. I'm just going to sharpen that, give it a bit of a point, and we're going to put those bit of shadow back in. So we're just going to deepen it where we know those shadows are. Okay, so up there. I love Jane's images. As soon as this crisis is over and I can get a copy delivered of her books, I will be getting more. It's very exciting. Something to look forward to. Yeah, so like I said, it's my birthday next week, and I've said to my husband, oh, can I have one of these books? And he'd kindly agreed. Sorry, just going back in there. And then I was heartbroken when I realised that we couldn't get it because the delivery stopped. So, but so glad that I got this PDF. Right, a little bit of white. Just where the Deco Pink was. It stops it being too harsh. And helps to blend it all out. Sorry, did a little shorts there. Okay, now round her the little lacy bits of trim I'm going to do with Sky Blue Light 1086. Let's keep her in shot. Okay, and I'm just going to fill that trim in. Fill it all in. And this little ruffle on her sleeve, fill that in. It's beginning to come to life. Okay, then I'm taking one of the blues we used for her eye, which is Ultramarine 902, and just where those little dots are, I'm going to make them dark blue. And then just bring a bit of darker in from there. Can you see? Just move her around so that I can just bring a tiny bit of that ultramarine in very lightly. And then a little bit round her collar here. Not forgetting to fill those little I'm just going to fill that in round the collar line where the deep bits are, and fill in the little dots. I think it'd be like embroidery anglaise, which just little holes. Very fiddly, but it's worth it because it gives it that bit of depth to the image. She is. Right, back with our Sky Blue Light, and I'm just going to go back over that. Give that a bit of a blend in. Okay, let's zoom out. So there we have our little lady with her magical forest background. Now I think what I will do is do this as part 1, and then I will bring part 2 to you tomorrow and we'll finish off together. So if you stuck with me or you're a new subscriber, thank you so much for watching. Thank you again to Jane and her publishing team. Thank you to Mary BROX'S. Sorry, not Mary, what am I doing? May BROX'S, for her support with this. And Jackson Sanders, if you're watching, I hope you're enjoying. So guys, until tomorrow, take care of yourselves and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.